Hey guys, Clumsy here. Welcome back to ETS2. Still with the same truck though, bit of a different trailer this time. More stories on that later. I have been listening. So we are still in the Pomezania Map. And I had an area which I haven't explored yet. This one, however you pronounce that. Usnis. To turn in. Although this one we probably won't be able to go through. But yes, it's going to be around 30 minutes. Going to be some nice sceneries, I'm sure, along the way. And yes, we are keeping the same truck, the same Zeemod sounds. But not exactly, because we got an update. Version 1.3 of Zeemod sounds now. Let's go and hear it. Goosebumps all over. My goodness. Okay, let's get this started. Let's go and get that in. Good. Parking brake is released. Off we go. Carrying some sawdust panels, 21 tons of them. Going to be a pretty heavy load. And we have the new Zeemod's air freshener also. For everyone who purchased his mods, you should have access to that as well. Pretty cool. I like it so far. Doesn't intrude on the scenery so much, but lets you know if anyone had any doubt on what sound mods I'm using. That's the answer. Very cool. And yes, Zeemod has been very active, has been updating his mods left and right. As I mentioned, 1.3 now on his engine sound, and even his train crossing sound got updated, I think. So lots of nice stuff happening. And I know that there are other mods coming out, other sound mods, other truck mods, but to be honest, I checked them out, but they didn't incite as much excitement for me, you know. So rather than force myself to test out each and every new mod that comes out, I stay true to what I feel. And what I feel is that this mod is still hands down my most favorite one. This combination of the Scania RJL4 series with Zeemod sounds. It's very hard to beat, guys. It's very hard to beat. So you'll have to pardon me, because it looks like we'll be staying with this truck for the foreseeable future, unless something tops it up. If you have suggestions, let me know in the comments, and I will check them out. But yeah, no promises, alright? Zeemod made it so hard to fill those shoes. So for now, let's enjoy what we can get from this combination. Now, as to the trailer, I've been getting mixed feedback. A lot of you guys seem to enjoy the past videos. Some people are very particular. Some people have very specific tastes and requirements. And I try to make it work with most, if not all people. Of course not all, because we all have our own tastes. We all have our own preferences. And those don't always align with what we have here in the video. But I try. So I got some comments about the previous video here in Pomezania, because I have real company mod from Shumi. So the company names have been changed to their real life counterparts. Unfortunately, those companies are not all originating from Poland. So there is to be specific, in the last video in this map, I think we had I think it was a Finnish company. Was it Prisma? The green trailer, if you remember that. The Finnish folks for sure would recognize it, but everyone else probably won't. I for sure didn't. So for me, it looked nice. I liked it. So I gave it a go, and that was that. But I got some violent reactions about that, to the point that they couldn't even watch the video because the trailer was Finnish and we were in Poland or something like that. So to be on the safe side, that's why we have a Schwarzmüller trailer now. Or some people would say, you're not in Germany. Come on guys, give me a break. we make do with what we have, okay? At least the color matches. At least give me that. So yes, I'll try to listen as much as I can. I probably can't fulfill each and every request, but we'll do our best, okay? So here we are. So if you have more requests, let me know. I can't assure that I can accommodate, but I will at the very least listen and try. Anyway, so I was sure today that I was going to record something with Zeemod sounds with the Scania 4 series, but I wasn't sure which map. I was deciding among Pomezania, Grand Utopia, and the default map. The default map, I didn't have any area which I was super excited about. And since mostly map mods aren't compatible with 1.40 yet, I know there's been an update for RawX and I wanted to check that out, but I think it's mainly 139 compatible. Not sure if it's compatible at all with 140. If you guys know, let me know. But I'll wait for that for 140. Project Japan, I would love to drive again, but I'm also waiting for the 140 compatibility. And yeah, so being in the default map was not very exciting for me, so I'll keep it out, cross that out. And then Grand Utopia versus Pomezania. That's a hard battle in the two. Both have their own merits. Both are 1:1 scale, so very nice details. And it's hard to choose a favorite. It depends. But I've been driving Grand Utopia more overall, so most of the areas I've already discovered. There are some areas that haven't been discovered yet though, I think, so there is still some room for exploration there. Oh, we have our thumbnail shot, guys. This is it. Look at that, beautiful. Even the shore, even the water doesn't look plain. Has the proper mix of like shoreline, some green stuff in there, some molds or something, I don't know. It really looks like a river. Beautiful. So yes, so Grand Utopia will make a comeback for sure, and we'll check out some areas we haven't explored before, because there are still some. But we just finished our trip to Le Paradis, if you guys remember. So wanted to change it up a bit again, and here we are back in Pomezania. I think in terms of optimization, I'm not sure because it's not apples to apples, but based on my very limited memory, my goldfish memory, I remember Grand Utopia looking great everywhere you went, but in some of the older areas you had some, at least I had some performance problems in like slowdowns. But I don't think that's a fair memory because I remember having those slowdowns when I had an older system, back when I had a 1070. Now that I have a better GPU, that probably won't happen anymore, but it just reminded me of that. So yeah, for me in terms of optimization, based on my very limited memory, I think Pomezania is much better optimized. But yeah, that might be for older areas of Grand Utopia though. If it's new Grand Utopia versus new Pomezania, which is the entire map anyway, my goodness, look at that view. Sorry, got speechless for a second there. As you rounded that bend, and as we saw those cliff faces coupled with the vegetation, it just looks so natural, doesn't it? In terms of vegetation, the natural landscaping, I think Pomezania is the best from what I've seen. And that might even be comparing against Colorado. Colorado is a very tough standard to beat. Like, remember the $1 million highway? Remember the different sceneries that we've been passing through on our way to Denver. Those are great. But this one, I think even more so. At the very least, they might be a tie. But yeah, the landscaping work is amazingly well done. And the performance as well. Because normally when you have vegetation like this, that's when most of the slowdowns occur. Oh, we have to behave here, guys. There's a police officer right in front of us, so no buffer for speeding at all. Behave, guys, behave. And yeah, you guys have been telling me as well, those who have been driving in this map, you yourselves notice the very gentle bends on the roads. The bends and the level changes are very natural. It's so relaxing. I really wish this map was bigger. But I'm sure Pavolon and the rest of his team are working on that, so let's be patient about it. But I am so looking forward to what's in store for us here in this map. Because everywhere you go, it's just something like this. You get some nice, very naturally landscaped areas with beautiful roads to drive through. As we said before, when I first checked out this map, it's all Clumsy friendly. Oh my goodness. Yeah, and I know, thank you by the way. I think it was, yes, it was a Q&A video where I had that trailer that some people rage quit on because of the inaccuracies, quote unquote. That being said, my argument against that, remember, this is a fictional map. So technically, we can do whatever we want here, right? Because the only choices were either you keep those companies fictional, so fake companies not at all existing, or get some real company mods in, which will make those companies real, but it probably will not be based in Poland. Can't have everything. And for me, I'd rather have a real company that is, at least you recognize the brand, even though geographically it might be in a different area. Now you guys, some of you guys probably have a different opinion. Some of you guys probably have the same. Let me know in the comments. We can always have a healthy discussion about it. But yeah, I was surprised about the rage, about the wokeness. Is that the term these days? The wokeness of some people when I use that trailer. Anyway, thank you for all the comments, guys. I was so surprised with the comments in the last Q&A video. Thanks again to Halitan for asking that very wonderful question. Wow, sounds like a beauty pageant, huh? Thank you for that question. But yeah, really, thank you for that question, because it really started some very nice conversations, you know. It shows how much the community cares, because people couldn't resist and comment. People couldn't resist but voice their opinions, voice their inputs and violent reactions at some points. So yes, I received a couple of less than courteous comments, but I'm okay with that. I mean, it shows how much you're passionate about the topic, so I can take that, no problem. But I appreciate that you guys took the effort to comment, and I've seen some very long comments, like 3-4 paragraphs long, detailing why it should or should not be a new game. If you haven't checked it out, I highly recommend you do. Go and check out my channel, Videos tab. Look at the last Q&A before this video. That screenshot with the Prisma. I hope I remember the company at least. The Prisma, the green trailer, which woke a lot of people. Yes, so thank you for the comments there. Very insightful. Yes, I realized I rewatched the video, and I was surprised actually at what I was saying as well, because I was focusing so much on the graphics. I absolutely did not cover any of the gameplay elements. Right? And on the topic of starting a new game, just having better graphics I don't think will cut it. That's a very good point that you guys raised. Even if the graphics engine improved by tons, we got rid of all the draw distance limitations and all that stuff, it might not be enough for a new game, because it's going to be a full price. So that's what some of the people were commenting about. And yeah, that's true. That's a good point. But if they add gameplay elements, going out of your truck, rigids, multi-drops, all those additional things, especially stuff that to do with career mode, you know, truck company management, more endgame content, I would gladly buy that. Some of you guys even commented like the things that you've had in 18 Wheels of Steel, the previous game, which I unfortunately haven't played, but you guys have been mentioning a lot of comments, a lot of features there that are not here anymore. If they could bring those back and polish those, that would be great too. I also got a comment about, and this is a good point, but I would like to address this. So they said something about don't talk about things you know nothing about. You know, it was a very strong statement, and I completely understand where they're coming from, because we don't want to spread misinformation, right? And that's fine, but I'm not really preaching, right? I am voicing out my opinion, and what I know probably might not be accurate in some cases, and that's exactly where you guys come in. And actually, that even though he had quite a violent reaction, quite a strong reaction to my video, it's still nice because he commented at the end of the day, and he was kind of forced enough to comment, okay, you understand it wrong, this is how it should be. And that's great, because that's the exact purpose that I want, that why I want to have these videos. You know, I want to initiate that conversation, because if we follow that rule that we don't talk about things we don't know about, then how will we ever learn? How will we ever bring up those topics that are very taboo, or very you know, things that you keep hush hush? Well, that's the way to ignorance, in my opinion. So I will gladly be the idiot in the room who asks the question, as long as it gets the conversation started. So you can think of that as my sacrifice. But yeah, I would gladly be blamed or be tagged as the guy who doesn't know anything if it means it starts the conversation and it means we learn things. You know, that's something I think I've learned through the years. I've learned to be honest when I don't know something. In some people, in some cultures, it's a fake it till you make it kind of thing, right? And that has its merits for sure. But personally, I hate it. Personally, it goes against my very fabric of being. Faking it till you make it. It weighs heavy on my conscience, my personal beliefs, my virtues, if you could call it that. I would rather say I don't know something. If I don't know something, I don't know something. And if it makes me look like I'm ignorant, then so be it. But the reason I'm telling you I don't know it is because I want to learn it. You know, it's not like I don't know, period. I don't know, teach me. I don't know, let me learn about it. You know, there's always something. It's always a constant process of learning. And that's why I love interacting with you guys, because you always teach me something. And I hope in some way I am able to convey a message to you guys as well. But yes, that's exactly what I love, the back and forth. You know, ideally in a more civilized manner, but yeah, I get it. Sometimes the passions are coming out. Sometimes the fiery in the heat of the moment, you know, the emotions can just pour out of some people, and that's perfectly fine. Of course, ideally we would want that to be contained, but of course it depends on your personality. If you're the type who really is the blunt type, or you don't like mincing words, you don't like sugarcoating, you want to be sharing the entire truth and no filter, then that's you. And what can I do but work with that, right? If you can, then that would be great. If not, then I'll just have to accept it. But yes, nonetheless, appreciate all the inputs and keep them coming. Yeah, keep them coming, because that's how we let the SCS know. But yes, it's so nice learning about these things from you guys. Now I'll go back to the graphics topic once again, because I really don't. I have to study this offline, I guess, and then get back to you guys. But if someone can get me a head start, I think I would be interested in learning about like game development with regard to the graphics. You know, not that I will develop any games on my own. You know, it's not the goal. My goal is to understand enough, to know enough of the fundamentals, of the basics, so that these concepts will make sense to me. How does a line of code in programming translate into becoming a visual like what we see here? How do thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of lines of code get translated into something as beautiful as this? And so once I go down that rabbit hole, the goal is to understand, why is it that SCS seems to be having a problem with anti-aliasing? What is the challenge there? You know, what do we mean when we say graphics engine? I remember there was someone in a comment, I think it's the same comment, who said I shouldn't be saying anything I don't know about. And that's true, I don't know anything about it, but I think I should still say it. But they mentioned something about shaders. Graphics engine is all about shaders, I think was the statement. I'm not sure if that's really the case, but then again, yes, I don't know anything about it yet, so I'll have to study up on it first. But if you guys can give me a head start, for those who are in game development, for example, if you've been modding, if you've tried it once, if you've been exposed to it, or whatever that may be, let me know. You know, give me a boost, give me a primer, let me know which resource would be nice to learn that from. But that would be very interesting, wouldn't it? Because then we would understand, and then we would know how hard it is for SCS to implement it, given what they're... Yeah, because right now it's easy to ask for things, right? I want this, I want that, I want unlimited draw distance, I want 999 FPS, I want shadows, I want shadows on the reflections, I want all reflections to work without the draw distance limits and without hurting my FPS. We all know all of those have a cost, but how does that translate? And we don't really need to... Oh my goodness, look at that view, guys. Look at that view. And yeah, it all translates to something. And it doesn't... We don't need to know like how to develop a game. No, we don't need to go into that much detail, but go a bit deeper, right? Just get a bit more technical about it. Just to understand how much difficulty there is, or why it shouldn't be difficult at all. Because we have so many questions when it comes to graphics and optimization and performance. But it's all, for me, such a black hole that anything that I say is just purely on a wish list, but doesn't really have a technical foundation. You get what I mean? So I would love to have that. So if you guys are familiar, let me know. But don't post links, okay? Because YouTube is very much against links. If you post anything with a link, or if you post anything that seems promotional, YouTube has been very aggressive recently. Ask Bengan. Bengan J. He has been trying to tell me about the RawX update for a couple of comments, and it's always getting deleted. Like, I see the notification of the comment, but I can't read it anymore. Because as soon as he posts it, I get notified, but I only get like the first few lines. And then it gets deleted, so I can't view the entire message anymore. And it's not in my held for review, so it's not just filtered, it's outright deleted by YouTube. So it's not me, guys, okay? It's not me. But yeah, it's challenging. So don't post any links. Just state facts and let me know what's a good starting point, okay? But yeah, that's something that I would want to read upon first. Like, graphics engine is all about shaders. Is that an accurate statement? What do I know about shaders? Not much. I know that shaders are like compiled. I know some games that compile the shaders. I think I've heard about this in Explain in particular. Was it? So if I remember correctly, Explain, the flight simulator I've been using before I switched to Microsoft Flight Simulator, they had this huge graphics engine update where they moved from OpenGL to Vulcan. And I think it involved something about rendering those shaders in a different way when they moved to a different, from OpenGL to Vulcan. The analogy there, if I remember correctly, in OpenGL, it's like driving in a city road where you are met with lots of traffic lights, lots of intersections, lots of traffic lights. So whenever you hit a red light, you stop. That's equivalent to the shader being rendered on the spot. So you go, you stop, you go, you stop. So that translates to a lot of stutters, right? Because the shaders are being rendered on the spot when you need it, when you get there. Traffic light turning red when you get there. The analogy is with Vulcan, they can render all of those shaders, am I using the right word, even before you get there. So at the start, when you're starting your car, let's continue with the analogy, well, you're still in the parking lot, you start your car, all the shaders are rendered. So this is when the sim is loading in the beginning. So all of those traffic lights, all of those shaders are rendered at the start. So you get a longer loading time in the beginning, on the first time, because all of the shaders are rendered. But then, after that, once you get on the road, once you continue, once you cross, once you get to the city and reach all those intersections, all the traffic lights will be green. You won't have to stop at all. Now, wouldn't we like that, right? You stay a little bit longer in the parking lot, but when you get going, everything is green. Everything is continuous, so you won't need to stop at all. And that's going to be great. But yeah, I think those were shaders. If I remembered wrong, then my bad. As I'm sure someone will get woke again with my ignorance. But hopefully it incites some... Piekle? Are we in that area? Probably. Yes, we are. That's the one. Probably not how you read it either, but you get the point. Anyway, so yes, I will read up on it. And yeah, most of the time I'm realizing these things as I drive. It, for me, probably not a very good analogy, but for me, driving like this guy with you guys, being able to talk while driving like this is equivalent to me thinking while in the shower. You know how you have your amazing ideas while in the shower? It's the same feeling for me here. So I'm actually talking here without having a script, as you guys can probably tell because of how unstructured it is. But yes, everything that I'm saying right now is something that is coming out from my head as I think about it. So I'm literally thinking out loud in front of you guys. That's why sometimes, didn't he contradict himself? That's what you probably would talk about. Didn't he just go back on what he said? And yes, that might be true, because I'm thinking about it and I'm thinking about it more, and then I realize maybe that doesn't make sense. Or maybe it is, but that. So more things to say, but it's how my brain works. It's it's sequential in that way. I'm a very sequential person when it comes to thinking. I have to do it step by step. So I have to draw it first. I have to say what's on my mind, and then I realize if that makes sense. I think about what I said, if that makes sense or not. My goodness, the assets here in this town, that looks so real. There's even a crucifix there. So good. So many custom signs. And all still great with the performance. Absolutely loving it. But yeah, this is just a real pleasure to drive anywhere you go. If you guys haven't tried this yet, if you have any takeaway from this video, go Pomezania. And go and as I always say, mods list link in the video description. Yes, that will have the answers for you. I have some people who ask about like, oh, the map is crashing, what do I do? It's very hard to troubleshoot. One, because I'm not available 24/7, right? So when there's a comment asking for help, there's going to be a huge time delay there. And I probably am not the expert to guide you on all these things. And sometimes I don't have enough info, so there's a couple of hours gap between when you commented and when I comment. And then sometimes the information is not enough, so I would need more info to even try and help out. But then again, with all that time lost, might as well go straight to the source. So if you guys have a question with any of the map mods, if you look in the mods list, link in the video description. That's a disclaimer now. If you look in the mods list, guys, if you look at the top row, like first 3 rows, I think, there is a disclaimer there. There is a note there to say that if you have questions, something along the lines of, if you have questions, go straight to the source, go and reach out to the modders themselves, to the official forum thread, and ask there. It's not just because I'm lazy, although I am, but it's not because of that. It's because you'll get the most help if you go straight to the source. Like, imagine this one. Me trying to help you out versus Pavlon himself trying to help you out in the map. Yeah, so it would be much better if you go straight to the source. And even if Pavlon doesn't have the time, for example, you say he's busy. For example, let's take one modder who is not very active in the forums. No. Missed my turn. Oh, don't do this to me. One sec. Don't think of a way. So yeah, instead of me trying to help you out and fumbling about, blind leading the blind kind of thing, might be better by hitting a car or something. Probably, huh? Probably not the best scenario. Let me do something. Okay, I have an idea. Let's get out of the way here. Then let's reverse on this other side of the road. Yes, that's the plan. So yeah, let's say, for example, the mod author is not very active. But that's the main reason for those forums. It's not a 1:1, not a 1:1, you know? It's not a one-on-one kind of thing. It's putting your question out there to all the people who are interested or knowledgeable in that thing. So if you have a problem in the Pomezania map, for example, you can't load it, then let the people know in the forums, the thread about Pomezania, that you have a problem. So instead of just me trying to help you and fumbling about, you get the collective knowledge of all the people in the forums. Granted, sometimes there are some not so courteous people there, but For the most part, they are. Here we are. There we go. But yeah, so go to the forums and ask your question there. Put as much details as you can, you know, so they can help you out. And it's not only the collective knowledge of people in the forums, it's also the collective... Can I go through there? 1 second. They are asking me to turn left. Okay, so let's just follow this. It's not only the collective knowledge, but it's the collective time. Because like in my case, I'm not the most knowledgeable. I'm not the most available. So there will be a huge delay in my reply, and there will be a huge lack of depth in my reply in some cases. So I'm not the best person to help you out. But if you post it in that forums, you'll get all the people involved there who can chime in. And you'll get all the people with their different time zones in there, so you get the fastest reply possible. Yeah? And I can also look at that one, because I also visit the forums. So I can also answer there if ever. Wow, what is this, a dam? That looks great. Do we get that? Oh yeah, there's that road. I think we went over there at some point, because we have discovered it. 1 sec, is it this one? Yes. Okay, easy does it. Very nice. This area actually reminds me a bit of Grand Utopia. I think there is an area in Grand Utopia with a dam as well, if I remember correctly, or something at least with like a bridge, and then the bridge turns off into a small town on the side. Something like this. Makes me remember that place. This is good. Oh, this is so good. Very nice. Well, I'm glad I visited this area with you guys, and with commentary at that. I was actually planning on making a silent trucking video to highlight the changes from Zeemods, but I kind of wanted to mix it up, you know, so that we had a silent trucking video already the other day, and now we get something with commentary, something for everybody, because I can't please everybody in one video, but maybe if I have multiple types, maybe it helps a bit. And I think overall there are more people who like commentaries than silent trucking, so that might help as well. Okay, let's see. Turn it out. So I'll be waiting for your not in Germany. I'm not going to watch the video because you have the German trailer. No, but I think this trailer should get around, right? I don't think it should be so impossible to see that in Poland, so that might be more realistic actually. Yeah, looks good. Of course, absolutely loving the sounds. And even though I'm not the best guy to distinguish between the subtle differences in each version, for me, it sounds good. And whatever Zeemod thinks is better, I would believe him. I trust his taste enough to trust that when he updates it, something, it's going to be for the better. Good. All good. We made it in one piece. Somewhat. 27 kilometers, 1 hour 23 minutes. In real time, around 40 minutes. Alright, I'll take that. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Thanks for allowing me to babble. Hope you got entertained at least. Are you not entertained? If you know that line, might be getting as old as I am. Thanks for watching, guys. Clumsy Trucking, looking forward to your comments, and let's see how things turn out this time. Have a good one. Clumsy Trucking, bye-bye.